4:34, if David is up and ready. Here, if you would like these. So we've got clerk's report, which is the, oh, I'm sorry, I have two things to add to the agenda. Forgot about, thank you, sorry. Whole 3 minutes has passed and I forgot that. So we need to add, under new business, we will add resignation, or is that plural? Resignation, and then we will add new insurance regulations. All right. So those will be under new.
So this is actual SU meeting.
Yes, we are the SU tonight. Okay, so now on to clerk's report. We've got the approval of minutes of December 27th.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? I think I did read them over. Oh, it's been a whole, almost 12 days since we met. All right, seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes of December 27th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, minutes are passed. Welcome to everyone here. Committee reports, we have none. So now we have warrants and payroll. So we have warrant, you wanna?
I can make a motion so that.
There you go.
I move that we approve the warrants of December 27th, 2019, the amount of $419,714.32, and the payroll from December 20th in the amount of $451,046.14.
Is there a second? I'll second if you like.
Go ahead.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Anything to discuss on those? Okay, all those in favor of passing the warrants as moved, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, warrants are done. Why don't we move on to the resignation?
Okay.
Give Kelly a chance to.
Okay, dear Lyle, Windham Southeast has been an amazing place to work for the past 13 years. I never expected to be in this position as long as I have been. It is a testament to the exceptional colleagues I have had the opportunity to work with every day. Even through the challenging times, I know we are all working in the best interest of students. My ability to lead in these ever-changing times has required me to learn from students, parents, and colleagues, as well as state and national experts. As an educational system, we make every effort to be ahead of the curve as to how we serve students with disabilities with learning challenges. There are students I have known from preschool to graduation. Not many special education directors have been with kids for that long. It has been an honor to see students graduate after their years of very hard work to achieve. They did it with guidance, strength, and grace. With this, I formally state I will retire at the end of the school year, June 30, 2020. I will work with you, Shelley, Joe, school administrators, and the board for a smooth transition to a new director of special education. I will miss daily engagement with amazing special education teachers and related service providers. They are the backbone of our services and advocacy for students. We are fortunate to have dedicated, well-versed educators supporting our students. I know I leave the students in good hands. With respect and gratitude, Marisa Duncan Hawley.
Feared that about the second line. It wasn't looking good no matter how you sliced it by the second line.
Took me about 6 lines.
Yeah,
About special ed to catch on. So I'm not moving it.
What if you say no?
Well, I keep wanting to do that and see what happens.
So many opportunities.
July 1, you're going to be in trouble.
In which case then, it was with deep regret and great respect that I move we approve the resignation of Marisa Duncan Hawley.
Can we add a few more with deep regret and unfortunately, and all right, I will regretfully second that. All those unfortunately in favor?
All those who have to vote in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
All those who would really like to say no.
Aye.
So obviously, I've worked really closely with Marisa, and I won't be here to miss her anyway. We may have plans.
Package deal, wait a minute.
We may have plans.
Maybe that's why she's leaving.
You guys are gonna be out having lunch.
I'm gonna party with you.
Right. So, at this point, I just want to suggest that this be my process for moving ahead. I know we have at least one candidate internally interested, possibly more than one. I would like to convene a group of a board member, a teacher, an administrator, Frank, myself, and advertise internally first. If that group interviews the internal candidates and decides, no, we need to go beyond that, then we would put it out there. My concern is with a new superintendent, you may not want a brand new special education director at the same time. And an internal candidate, if the one that I'm thinking of applies, is well-versed in Vermont law, special education law, all of our schools. So that is my proposal for moving ahead with replacing this person.
Thoughts?
Well, I think your reasoning is really sound. I always resist this because it locks us into our continuing to be not very diverse professional staff. However, if someone from within is hired, we will be hiring someone
Correct.
to replace that person, and we can
Then
make a really broad
Yeah.
effort to find a
Absolutely.
candidate that way. Yeah, so, really.
So I would move that, because we can discuss it, I would move that we accept the recommendation of administration with the understanding that if an internal candidate is hired, we will do a wide search
For
for the replacement for
Internal
the internal candidate. I don't want to make this the longest motion in America.
We could have both start with that. No, and I would agree with,
Do you want that in the motion, Christina? Because we're all,
I
it's not like
think
we're
I-
gonna forget.
I
just think it's clear.
to have.
I'm starting to forget.
I was gonna
I'm
say, I'm in the forgetful, so.
There's
55, I'm
there are a
forgetting
few other
most
things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit going on right now, and I think it's also helpful in that motion, because I very much agree with you. I like to open the search, but under this circumstance, it was really good logic to me, so I just think it's helpful to have that understanding that is, that's how we're working this, that the position we open will be a full-on search.
No, I think with everything going on with Act 173 and all the changes, let's not rock too many boats.
Yep.
And that would be a boat that really needs to be as solid and as possible. All right, any more discussion? You have your, if you need me to second it, I will second it.
Thanks.
Think you got it?
I will.
Okay.
We can,
All right, all those in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay. Any idea on a timeline?
I would prefer to move on this, so my
Yes.
next question to you, is one of you willing to sit in the interview process?
Can we
It won't
pick Kelly or
take-
Tim?
It shouldn't take more than a day, because
Okay.
I don't anticipate lots of internal candidates for this.
Okay,
But it is possible there could be 2 to 3.
okay. I could, or,
Well,
are you?
Tim and Kelly both have, well, Kelly has a job, Tim has kids.
Yes.
So, and you have a job. and-
You have a job.
What do you do every day? So,
I-
yeah, I can do it.
You can do it?
Thank you.
If you
Thank
promise
you.
it's one day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will be in touch with you, David.
Thank you.
That's it, right, for retirements?
Yeah, she said one and that's it.
Yes, for
Now-
the SD, for the SD we have.
For the year.
A whole bunch.
Okay, so new insurance requirements. What's up?
So you can remember in December, we got the information from the arbitrator. The arbitrator decided to go with the proposal presented by the NEA, teachers, Vermont NEA. The VSBA is overseeing the implementation and has organized webinars and training sessions. However, because we're not members of the VSBA, Frank and I cannot access those unless we pay. So I'm asking you for permission. I don't want it to come to the warrants that we're paying VSBA, because I know that that would certainly raise some eyebrows after all the conversations we have. But Frank and I have two options, because we do need to have guidance in how we should be implementing the new insurance. So we can either pay the VSBA, so Frank and I are eligible to do the webinars and trainings, or you can say no money to VSBA. We can contact our attorney and ask our attorney to go in sort of the back door and try to figure that out.
So this is a state mandated change.
Yes.
And the only way to get access is to pay a private organization.
The only way we can get specific answers. So questions that we have right now are questions around domestic partners, because it didn't spell that out clearly.
Okay.
Third party, for instance, HRA, HSA, third party administrators, that's not been clear. So we have a number of questions like that.
And there's no one at the state who can answer these?
I've called Sue Seglowski, and she said, you have two options. And those are the two I just said. Pay the VSBA.
I think it's like $450, and then
It's 40.
anybody can go who
Anybody.
wants, so it's like a
Yeah.
per head basis. I mean,
Okay.
I think we talked about this, that there are
This
things that
could
we're gonna
be.
use in the
Yeah,
VSBA,
yeah.
and we pay for them. So-
Which I'm fine if it is, we have a new way to train staff on X, Y, and Z. When the state is forcing us to do this change and then pushing us down a pathway to say, and you have to pay somebody else, that gets me a little annoyed. But I realize I will get off my soapbox.
I'll step on that. for-
Okay.
No, And in this case, it's really not even related to VSBA as the astonishing ability of the state to continue to provide unfunded mandates. And in this case, but I think before we make, before we pay anybody, we contact the agency and the Secretary of State's office and ask them what supports are there. And I also would think that the Business Managers Association would have some expertise, in the Superintendent's Association as well.
Yeah.
I'm still paying them,
And that's where I went to first. And
Right.
I was sent to the VSBA,
which is next door,
which is next door.
down the hall. Yeah, so
Yeah.
not surprising.
Karen?
Jody,
Are
would you
saying-
introduce yourself?
Oh, Jody Normando, Dummerston. Are you saying that Brad James doesn't understand this enough to talk to him?
I suspect that right now Brad James has not
Has not dived
He
in.
hasn't dived into it yet because of, he's got school finance and everybody is working on budgets right now. This was just presented December 15. And I don't know if he is aware of the intricacies involved with, all of a sudden we have a new insurance. We're concerned because a mistake in insurance, as you know, can cost us huge penalties. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we are required to do.
Sean Murphy, yeah, I just have a question. If we paid this $400 so the webinar could be.
480, yep,
480?
yep,
Would we have to pay that if we were a member of the VSBA?
no.
We would not.
There would be a fee for it. For the webinars for everybody are free, but then there's a no, it's the meetings
Correct.
The
that you have to
meetings
pay
you
for.
pay for.
Right.
That
So,
are, and ours is in Heartland or someplace like that.
They're all over.
Yeah, well, they're all over the state, yeah,
Closest
closest
to us.
to us, yeah.
But the webinar that you were interested
If-
in being able to take a bill yourself is $480. If we were a member of the VSBA, we would not have to pay that $480.
Correct. If we paid our $9,000 dues, we would
$9,960.
get the webinar for free.
Right. And I would have access to McNeil, whatever, which is the attorney that is overseeing the whole implementation.
So the attorney who's overseeing the state mandated change is held hostage, or the gatekeeper is the VSBA, and we have to pay them to get through. Okay.
And what about VHI and Bismarck? I mean,
I
master
have not
something.
asked, but I assume that they have to know
They're the
this.
people that are supposed to, we're paying to help us, that we pay to handle our insurance, otherwise we could do it through Richards and not have to talk about this. So,
I can find out. The webinar's tomorrow, so I will miss it.
I guess I would move
yeah,
that we
yeah,
authorize you to pay the 480 or 480.
yeah, and you don't need additional stress or Frank either,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because of this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll call these people and
Okay, that'd be
and
great.
see what they're up to.
I would love to know that answer.
so I move we authorize you to spend 480 for the VSBA Health Insurance Regulation webinar.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
How much was it, 480?
480. Or do you want to say up to 500 in case there's some bizarre thing, or are you good with 480?
Good with 480.
Okay, 480. Negotiate a deal. Tell them that's all we got. All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, all right, so now on to the real meat of stuff, and we'll try to get this done so you guys can have your meeting. So where we are on the superintendent search update. So the survey has, I believe as of today, what day is it? It is Wednesday, maybe it was yesterday, has started to be circulated. I can send you guys the link I've been sending should continue to work. So that is happening. The forums are scheduled. Big thank you to Barb for helping arrange those. So we've got one on January 13th at 5:30 at Academy School, one on the 15th at 5 o'clock at Green Street School, one on the 15th at 6 o'clock at Green Street School. So that's a back-to-back. Teachers and support staff at 5, administrators at 6. And then we've got one on January 20th at 5:30. So this is going to start being pushed out as much as possible. I sent it to the Vernon newsletter. And if you have anybody you want to send it to,
Will it come to us?
it will
Because
be.
you send it easier from my email.
Oh, yeah, I will send you this whole thing. I did get a call from the reformer today, and I put Chris in touch with Jennifer, because I just figured it's best it all goes from there. I did ask Jennifer about whether or not we should all attend, or if we should hang back and let her do her work, and then give us the report. Her thought was hang back, but she also said we could, if we wanted to, especially at the community forums, maybe go and at least help state why these are happening, and then hang back. So just something for us to discuss. Any thoughts on?
And this is the communication,
This is a better version of it.
just so I know what to put the right thing in the minutes.
So any thoughts on being there or not being there? I didn't want, not that we're an intimidating group, but I didn't want it to feel like we've contracted with Thrive to do this, and that's their expertise, and
So,
Right?
I'm sorry, go ahead, David.
No, I just let them do their work.
okay.
I mean, I think I would prefer not to have a formal board presence there, but I think if we show up and listen to sometimes I feel like you get a lot out of being in the room. Because sometimes somebody's conversation's being controlled and ideas being put forth that maybe, and so it's sometimes helpful to be in the room to hear, but in terms of a formal board presence in a warned meeting, I think that would be intimidating. I think that would not be helpful.
So at this point, I have told Barb I don't believe they need to be warned. because I do not see us, one, possibly all being there and having a quorum, but two, we're not taking action and we're not technically discussing anything. It's more of a
So we
listening.
could anyway.
So she's moving forward with those. The real question is, and I can ask Jen again, you know, would you like just one of us to come and do something at the community meetings? She also did say, you are members of the community, and therefore there's no reason you can't be there as community members. So,
And I believe if you can all go, you're not conducting board meeting, you're not pulling yourselves off to the side and discussing things, so there's no fear if you all go that it hasn't been won.
okay. Is everyone kind of comfortable with that, or? Christina's thinking.
No, so in terms of saying something, I think I'd prefer to let Thrive
Okay,
manage it for me.
okay.
I think if I saw a quorum of us there, I'd leave just to be on the safe side, but
Okay.
that's me, so.
Okay.
Just because we are sort of discussing something that we will take action, like, it's in the gray zone, but if I see three of you there, I'm out, so.
Well, there's one in Dummerston, so if you want to
Okay.
be the,
Okay. Well, that's fine, I mean,
That
I think it's unlikely that a
that
quorum of
we're
us
all
are
going
gonna show
to,
up, so I
right,
think it's not,
right.
I think it's not an issue, but I'm just saying how I would approach that, it's tricky.
Okay.
So,
Well, the other thought is that they're going to process this information and the survey results and then present it to us as data based on the community's responses.
yeah.
So I'm wondering about, and I also am aware that our presence, at least for staff and administration, would have an effect, maybe not necessarily an intimidating one, but might make them laugh. But, so I just, you know, again, I'm curious, but I think, you know, again, we hired them to do this for us, so I thought I was going to stay out. Bug it.
Okay, so I will send you guys all the information, continue to chat with Jen about it, but I think have got somewhat of a consensus of, we all don't feel that 5 of us need to be there, but we are welcome to attend as community members and stay apart from each other.
May I touch on-
Oh, yeah,
I've got a couple of questions.
sure.
Jody Normando again. The survey, who's it going to go to?
So, I should have been more prepared for this. Jen was sending it around to, first of all, it's going to SU administrators, staff, getting funneled out that way. It's been sent to the Reformer, it was going to the Commons. I wish I could find this email really quickly, but she had a whole list of how we were doing this. It's going on Brattleboro Facebook pages. I've gotten it to the Vernon people, so if you've got any.
Go out to,
So it's something that all community members could fill out?
Absolutely, yes.
But we just have to know how to get it?
Yep, but I can also take that entire list of everyone who's ever come to one of these meetings, and I can blast it out to them. So that might be a good start there, but that at least gets people who have come inside here. But then I think you're gonna start seeing it in, you know, newspapers. So there's also 2 ways to participate, and you can do both. You can come to a community forum, and you can talk, listen, partake that way, and/or you can take the online survey. You don't have to do both, but you can do both.
So the 2 community meetings are the 13th and the 20th?
That is correct.
And the 20th is in Dummerston?
The 20th is at 5:30 in Dummerston School, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Oh, Sean?
Front porch forums are really good.
that's
Okay,
good.
well, and that's where I will double check her list and make sure she was
Send that
expanding.
list? Because I had
Yes.
sent
Yeah,
somebody a whole
yes.
bunch of them.
You
a whole
had,
bunch of
okay.
things, yeah.
You
And,
did. Maybe it's easier for me to find it that way. I'm not good at
The,
multitasking when computers
The town
are involved.
clerks all have extensive email lists and know where to, know where the front porch forums and places like that.
Yeah,
And the parent groups should certainly get it. There are website or Facebook sites for all the schools, and Brattleboro has one for parents and one for the town. There's just a ton of places, and if they're going
Okay.
to do it, I won't, but otherwise I'll.
so this might be an earlier version, I'm not sure if this is the one you replied to. School newsletters, SU website, WSEA member list from Scott, press release for the Reformer and the Commons, post on front porch forums, all towns, root social justice, groundworks, youth services, SVCA, Winston Prouty, social media, Vermont Facebook, Brattleboro, Vermont Facebook page. So this might not have been the one that you,
No, that's-
this,
Yeah.
does that include some of
Yeah,
yours?
those-
Okay,
yeah, pretty much
okay.
the
So we are trying to go as wide as possible. So the next issue, is everyone good with where we're at there? So I talked to Curtis about how because I felt that the board wanted to make sure that Curtis was involved. He came back with a couple options for helping out in this phase. We would get his hourly rate, $195. His first proposal was 18 hours. That would cover the messaging, target audience, he can help us there. It would also cover posting to Vermont Partnership social networks, invitations to thought leaders from marginalized populations, pushing them to participate with the link and in the forum, as well as assisting in the preparation and participation of the forums. So that would be 18 hours. So that is, are you doing the math?
$3,500.
3,500. So I talked to him earlier today and said, that might be steep for us. I said, if you could take those 18 hours and give me a second choice and a third choice. Would you like to hear those, or?
Yeah.
Sure.
So the second choice is cutting down to about 14 hours. We would get rid of the posting to Vermont Partnership social networks. He says that is something that we could do. So it would move the burden onto us, but it would save about 4 hours of his time. The final option is, in addition to removing the 4 hours, or we can come up with our own hourly figure, is he would only spend he would not do the teacher and administrative forums. He would just do the community forums. What do you think? So if we'd like, so we've got an 18-hour option, it looks like we've got a 14-hour option, and it looks like we've got a 12-hour option.
I think I like the 14-hour option.
You like the 14?
Because I think that's something that we can do.
Okay. So you're thinking not having him do, or having him do all the forums?
So 2 hours more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that seem? So what's the 14? I did my math completely wrong.
I'm sort of having trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
2730
I thought that,
27:30.
is 195, right? Is the rate?
They would coordinate what we tried, and they would
Yeah.
have a pretty clear expectation of what they want to do since the bill.
He's also given me the next phases as well. He went all the way out to doing the implicit bias
Right.
workshops, reviewing the job posting, so we're sort of prepared when we're ready to go there.
Great.
As well as, so what he did is he went back and looked at the town to see how much time he spent doing that work. So he's given us some things, so I was like, great, but right now we're only on phase one.
So this, it looks like then we're going to be contracting with the partnership rather than Jen working, them collaborating.
Well, it would,
Based on
They
this.
would collaborate, right? No?
Jen and Thrive
Yeah.
would collaborate, but as far as sort of the reaching out to as he's, personal invitations to thought leaders from marginalized populations to use the link and to participate in the forum. So it's more of the advertising,
Or actually reaching out to contacts.
reaching out to contacts.
That's probably
Oh, sure. Oh, Kelly, there you go. Now, here's something that I didn't discuss with him. I wonder if there's a way where we just said, look, we can do the 14, but what if we did take the 2 away from the administrative and teacher forum, and we added 2 to the posting, and we said, can you put a couple hours into partnership? So we take 2 away from partnership and 2 away from forums. I also don't want to overly micromanage and say,
Right,
you can
yeah.
only spend 20 minutes here. It's more of the,
So he would, is it, they're offering to do outreach to get people to the forums?
Mhm.
Okay, so the outreach to get teachers to the forums,
well, no, this would be
or staff?
no, so that would not be what he's doing. He is doing more of the marginalized populations to use the link and get them to the forum. So we could have him focus on, I mean, that wouldn't increase teachers and staff coming to
Right.
forum, but it might increase
Yeah, okay.
parents.
I thought we were talking about 2 forums and not the other 2.
So
So
he
I
would
lost it.
assist in the preparation and participation of the forums. But going to all the forums, do we want him to go to all 4, or what if we just had him go to 2?
I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So if he went to 2 forums for 2 hours, and that's just a 2 hours, we take 2 of those hours and say, can you use them for the personal invitations to thought leaders from marginalized populations?
'Cause I think that's,
Yeah, that's what we want.
that's what we,
we
that's the
need.
most.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we need the most help with.
In this phase, that's
In
the
this
most-
phase.
that's the
And
most-
in
there
this
may be,
space.
there may be, it may strike him when you get back to him that, well, since it's clear that what we're looking for is the highest possible level of engagement, another suggestion for how to
Okay,
adjust his time.
okay.
So do we want to make a motion that authorizes Carrie to engage him? Because there's still a little negotiating, but I think you know what our intent is.
Yes.
And we want to move forward, so could we, so based on what, could we authorize to spend up to $3,000 you to engage Curtis for up to $3,000, depending on, after you talk to him, what you think the best pathway, you don't have to spend all $3,000.
Okay, okay.
But however, this fine tuning with Curtis works.
With the intent being the highest engagement of survey participants and attendance at community forums.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So we move to authorize Carrie to
Engage Curtis,
engage
Curtis Reed.
Vermont Partnership.
Vermont Partnership. In survey and community forum engagement.
Yep, that sounds good. And I don't know if we want to add something about working with Thrive. I mean, it's in coordination
with
with
Thrive.
Thrive.
For up to $3,000.
Okay,
Does that seem?
Not to exceed.
not to exceed. Okay.
Okay.
Questions? All right, all those in favor of the motion as stated, say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? All right, next thing on my list was the Don Collins. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh.
And before we do
Somebody
that,
selling their house?
let me say this, that I realized after reading the minutes today that there were things I was supposed to do which I haven't done to get us to the sort of next step, because I've been focusing with Jen. So if
good.
you all can give me your take on what you think I should start doing as of tomorrow, so at our next meeting, we're ready to push through. But part of that, I think, is
So I had emailed Don Collins, who is on the executive committee of the VSBA, because I had not been at the previous VSBA meeting, because I was at a budget meeting here, to find out the thought process behind the VSBA changing their policy to offer superintendent searches to districts that were no longer members, and said that it was it was not well timed for our district in this decision making. And he turned around and said, well, I've done a bunch of superintendent searches and I'd be happy to do it for you. He was a superintendent in three different, is that right? Including Windham County, superintendent of Windham County, Franklin County. He was administrator before that, so he's been a principal, he's been a superintendent in 3 districts. He chaired the House Education Committee for many years, was a big fan of your mother. And he has been on the school board for a very long time and is now on the VSBA executive board, and has been on the VSBA for a while. So we have another candidate, and I think he just did it kind of out of the goodness of his heart, but he's done a bunch of superintendent searches, and I said I would bring it to the SU and see if we wanted to consider him. But it is interesting because he approaches it from the position of somebody who's been a principal, who's been a superintendent, and a school board member. So that's sort of an interesting background in looking for a yes, because he's been on all sides of this, all sides of the search that we're doing. So I said I would check with the board, and if we're interested, we could have him submit something as well. I hate to muddy the waters now. I didn't know this was a possibility. So.
Did he talk about how much time he has to, he's pretty involved in a business that he's developed over time of when someone dies in the family, and they're left with a house that's full of stuff, and the whole property. He handles taking care of all of that. Not the people, but the property. And I don't know how busy he is with that, but he's also retired a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much time he would have with that.
Well, he volunteered it, so and I think he knows what's involved. So. In a
he may not know what we're trying to do.
Well, that's true, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with him, or open it up to either of you, because I think, I mean, he's
no,
terrific.
I know him. He came up just as I was winding down there.
Yeah.
He's quite well known.
He's quite an amazing human. So I kind of feel like, maybe you should have the conversation with him.
Well, and I feel like I'm about to open things back up and say, look, here's where we are with Thrive, here's the deliverables that they're going to be giving us on this date. At that point, and this is where I need the input from you guys, I'm assuming we will want to move forward, and we have to figure out the options.
Yeah.
So, is that kind of what we're thinking?
I think so.
Okay, so I will reach back out to all of the previous people. I will add Don Collins to the list. I'll give them all an update of where we are in our process and say, are you interested in helping us going forward?
And what it would cost.
And what it would cost.
Well, and we also have to, I think we need to talk about what's the next, what do we want in the next step.
Yeah.
I think we need to be really clear about that.
Yeah.
Either now or at the next meeting.
Okay.
I think we need a next, we have
Well,
a finance.
You guys have finance, so
Yeah.
You're gonna lose us.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose me.
I'm gonna lose people.
Is finance gonna be in there?
I guess so.
Looks like it. We need to,
Do they have enough room?
we need materials.
Yes, I think we do.
And we need
Yeah.
to be started soon. It's
Yeah.
not like something that's gonna be easy to do in a couple of days.
Well, I think we need a meeting next week to kind of.
Why don't we focus on, when's our next meeting?
Because I think if you contact people before we know what we're asking them for, I think it's gonna be, it'll just raise more questions. We'll get confused responses,
Yeah.
and we won't know what we need.
All right,
And I
here's,
thought we had a pretty clear list of things, the next steps. I could dig it out.
yeah, here's a question. Does anyone want to meet either after the Academy School meeting?
What day of the week is that?
That is January 15th, which is a
No, it's the
when,
13th.
oh, sorry, January 13th, thank you. I've got a VES meeting. Okay, that won't work. I don't know that we want, well, we could go until the 20th. Can anyone do Monday the 20th?
I can. Oh, it's a holiday.
That's a week and a half away. That's 12 days, that's almost 2 weeks away.
That's a holiday too.
Oh, all right, another night?
Let me get my,
What about next Wednesday?
I could, Wednesday the 15th?
if we could do it early-ish, I mean, like before 6 instead of usually at 6.
Can you guys do 5?
I just find
5 is good.
5 is good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we did a 5 PM and this, I'll find out from Barb where.
And this is the PPC.
No, this isn't PPEC.
No, we're gonna meet, is
Oh.
the PPC gonna meet to talk? Oh, now we're just the
that's-
SU doing this.
Now we're just the SU,
Okay.
right,
Yeah, okay,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yes,
yep,
done.
yep.
Okay, great.
Yep. Okay, so SU, 5 o'clock, Wednesday the 15th. I'll let everybody know where it is. If we can get this room, is this best?
That's great.
It's
Okay,
convenient, yeah.
okay. So I will try for CUSIP. And I think that is all we have. Unless you all can think of anything else, and then whoever needs to get into finance can get into finance.
Okay.
So everybody,
Yeah, so you're just gonna, the only thing that's gonna happen is between now and then is you're gonna talk to Curtis.
I'm gonna talk to Curtis.
Right.
I'm going to email you guys all
This stuff, yeah.
this document, even
And
though,
we'll see we'll have the survey in our emails soon.
yep, and hopefully over the next couple days, you're gonna
We'll
really
see
start
type of
seeing it
specific.
places. Yep, me
Great.
too. All right, is there a motion to adjourn or any other business?
I
Okay.
move we adjourn.
I second it.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor?
I just put my clock away. 5:15.
At 5:15.
At 5:15. Thank you, guys.
Aye.
Aye. Did we actually do everything?